Okay, lesson 109, page 304, percent word problems. All right, you guys have been doing problems like these for a while. This is where you draw your circular diagrams. For the most part, I think maybe one exception, but for the most part, you guys are all doing super well with these. I'm really pleased with how good you guys are at drawing your diagrams. So the main difference in this lesson is they're more word problems rather than just saying you had a percent, it increased by this, what's the new number. There's some word problems that have a little extra information that you don't really need, but it's just there to kind of make you think through it a little more. And the problem doesn't actually say draw the diagram. So you might look at it and go, how am I supposed to solve this? So it's up to you to figure out and to just recognize these as problems where you're going to draw these diagrams to help you solve them. All right, now the first step should be to draw the diagram. That'll help you figure out what equation you need to use to get the information you're looking for. All right, so let's look at example 109.1. It says 20% of the clowns had red hair. If 40 clowns had red hair, how many did not have red hair? All right, well, just by looking at this problem, there's no increase or anything. So for our diagram, we're going to use the one where you just have two circles and they're the same size because you're splitting, you're not increasing. All right, so you always have your before, which is 100%, and then you have your after, and you should draw the diagram first because then you can put your numbers in and then you can figure out your equation. All right, now 20% of the clowns had red hair, 20%. Now, if it helps, you can put over here red hair just to keep track. 40, okay, well, first of all, before we move on, if 20% had red hair, then what percent didn't? 80. Okay, so did not. All right, let's look at what information it gives us. 40 clowns had red hair. Okay, so we know 40 is 20%. How many did not have red hair? Okay. Now, to solve this, we're going to need to figure out our before, so then we can subtract 40 from it and get our after. All right, so you've got enough information. You can make an equation here. 20%, well, 40 is 20% of, and then this is what we're looking for. All right, so we can come over here and we can go 40 is equals 20%, and we're going to write that 2/10. 20% of, this is what we're looking for, so x, all right? 40 is 0.2x. All right, now we want to get our x alone, so we're going to divide both sides by 2/10. Okay, if you divide 40, it's going to go in there 200 times. All right, so our x is 200 of 200. So if the original amount's 200, 40 had red hair, then obviously 160 did not. We just do the subtraction there. So let's look at what the question was asking. How many did not have red hair? 160. Okay, so again, very similar to what you've been doing, but more wordy. All right, 109.2, when the fog lifted, the number of frogs that could be seen was 140% greater than before the fog lifted. All right, so stop. Right now, you can already tell you're going to have a diagram that's bigger than your original. All right, because we always start with 100%, and then it says the number of frogs that could be seen was 140% greater than before. So 140% greater than this, that would be 240%. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. The number of frogs that could be seen was 140% greater than before the fog lifted. If 40 frogs could be seen before, so that's our before, 40 frogs could be seen before, how many could be seen after? All right, so here's our after, and that's what we're looking for. So that's going to be our x. All right, so we know x is 240, 2.4 of 400, so 40 times 40. So all we have to do, x is already alone, so we just need to multiply. Okay, so 2.4, 2 4/10 times 40, 0, 16. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Bring over your decimal. So 96. How many could be seen after the fog lifted? 96 could be seen after the fog lifted. All right, now hopefully you're seeing why you should draw your diagram first. It just helps you get all your information in its correct spots. All right, 109.3. 40% of the trees were in bloom. If 1,200 trees were not in bloom, how many trees were in bloom? All right, so again, we're not increasing or anything like that, so we're just going to draw our two similar diagrams. We have our before, we have our after. Okay, 40% of the trees were in bloom. Okay, so 40% in bloom. So then obviously 60% are going to be not in bloom. 1,200 trees were not in bloom. So our 1,200 is going to go here. How many trees were in bloom? All right, now we can't just figure this out. First, we have to get this and then do some subtraction. All right, so we can come over here and do 1,200 is equals 60% of, and then we want to figure this out. So that's going to be our x. All right, so again, we want to get our x alone. So we divide both sides by 0.6, 6/10. All right, 1,200 divided by 6/10. 6 will go into 12 twice, and then we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 2,000. All right, so then 2,000 minus 1,200, that's going to be 800. How many trees were in bloom? 800 trees were in bloom. So very similar to what you guys have been doing. I don't think you're going to have a big problem with this, but again, the problems won't say to draw a diagram, so you just need to remember to do that step. Okay? Let's go ahead and do the practice problems. Go ahead and pause the video and work these two practice problems on your own, and I'll give you the answers, and then if you can't figure it out, I'll work them for you, and you can maybe see what you're doing wrong. All right, go ahead and pause the video. All right, I'm assuming that you've paused, pressed play, and you've worked these, so let me give you the answers. A is going to be 1,400, and B will be 60%. All right, if you got those answers, awesome. All right, if you didn't, maybe you can figure out what you did wrong. Let's do A. 30% of the trees had red blossoms. If 600 trees had red blossoms, how many trees did not have red blossoms? All right, well, let's draw our diagram. No increases here. All right, we have before, after. 30% of the trees, 30% red blossoms. So obviously 70% did not have red blossoms. 600 trees had red blossoms. How many trees did not have red blossoms? Okay. Well, we know 600 is 30% of whatever our before is. So we're going to do 30% of whatever we're looking for. All right, divide both sides by 0.3. 600 divided by 3/10. 3 will go in there 2,000 times. So of 2,000, that's going to make our subtraction come out to 1,400. And the question was asking how many trees did not have red blossoms? 1,400. That's going to be our answer. All right, and I know I'm working these quickly. If you want to go back and pause the video, then feel free to do that. All right, B, James found that the glob increased. Okay, let's just stop. We already know we're going to be increasing here. From 400 pounds to 640. All right, so for this one, they give us our original number, 400 pounds, and then it went to 640 in just 3 hours, and we don't care about the 3 hours. They're just letting us know that. What was the percent increase in the weight of the glob? All right, so we want to figure out the percent here. So 640 is what percent of 400? All right, you could write this 640 is 400 x. Same thing. All right, we divide both sides by 400. Okay, 640 divided by 400. 400 will go into there once. Okay. And then 400 will go into 2400 6 times. So we have 1.6 for percent. That would be 160%. Now the question was asking what was the percent increase. So if we had 100% and then we went to 160, then we increased by 60%. All right, so hopefully you have been able to figure out how to get those answers.